What form is this? You are not sure.
No, ma'am.
When you take x tending to infinity, what happens to this expression? What is the limit of this expression when x tends to infinity? Limit of only the
One.
first term.
One.
1. How do you say that?
Dividing whole expression by x cube.
X cube. Okay, so then you have a 1 here. And what about the denominator?
1 by x minus 1 by x square plus 1 by x cube.
So when you take the limiting case, what will this?
Sorry, 0, 0, infinity.
Infinity, yes. So this expression is going to have limit infinity. What about the second expression?
Same,
Same.
infinity.
So what form is this?
Infinity minus infinity.
Okay. So only unless you have confirmed the form, do not proceed ahead. Okay. Now what do you do?
I subtracted it
Okay. So
and got 2x to the power 4 minus 2x cube
2x power 4 minus 2x cube. Okay.
whole upon x to the power 4 minus x square minus 2x plus 1
Minus x square.
minus 2x
Okay.
plus 1.
Okay. Does everybody else agree to this?
Yes, ma'am.
Just check the sign of this minus.
Ma'am, it will be x square plus 2x minus 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This sign is positive. Okay. Sudhanshu, just check your calculation. This should be a plus 2x, not minus. Okay. In any case, it is not going to affect the answer, but still, if you make a mistake here, you might get some deduction in the marks. Okay. Now, after this stage, what is this form or what have you done to this?
Divided the whole expression by x to the power 4.
Okay. So this is equivalent to, so this is now which format? Which format is this? When x tends to infinity, what form is this? Sudhanshu,
Yes, ma'am.
what form is this? When x tends to infinity, what does the numerator separately tend to?
Infinity.
And denominator?
Infinity.
So isn't it infinity by infinity form?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so this is again an indeterminate form. Only then you have to apply that particular process. Okay, either you use L'Hopital's rule here because it is this indeterminate form, or you divide by the highest degree term which you have.
Degree term.
Yes, so you can do that division, and after that, is it okay? This step,
Yes, ma'am.
and then what do you do?
Uh, common out 2
Okay,
and the term becomes 1. So 2 into 1.
2 into 1. Okay, what is the final limit then?
2.
2. Okay, so from the numerator you can see that when you take the limiting value of this expression, it is 0 because x tends to infinity, so this part becomes 0. Denominator, all this will become 0 as x tends to infinity, so you will be left with 2 by 1, which is nothing but 2. Okay, thank you, Sudhanshu. So this is how you can calculate. This is just one of the ways of calculating this limit. You could have also applied L'Hopital's rule after this, differentiated numerator separately, denominator separately, and you could have you then have to repeatedly apply the rule. Okay, so once application of L'Hopital's rule once may not have given you the answer, you would still have the same format, infinity by infinity. So you need to differentiate again and again till you reach a stage where it is no longer this particular format. Okay, so please check the format at every stage. Do not blindly or without thinking apply any technique which you know. Okay, so you may go wrong. Yes.
Can you please explain how it is infinity minus infinity?
how it is infinity minus infinity form in the beginning. See, here you have a higher degree term of x. Okay, so if you have, I give you the general format. Suppose you have a fx by gx where your expressions are all polynomials, and you have to find limit as x tends to infinity. If the degree of fx is higher than the degree of the denominator gx, then this term is going to tend to infinity. If the degree of numerator is smaller and you have a higher degree in the denominator, it is going to tend to 0. And it is some finite thing which is the ratio of the coefficients. So if you have the same degree like 2x 4 plus something, and then denominator also has highest degree as x to the power 4 plus something, then this expression will tend to 2 by 3 ratio of the coefficients. Okay, so this is a general rule which you can always remember. If your fx and gx, so if this is a rational function, you have polynomial expressions in the numerator and polynomial in the denominator. Only then, do not apply it in every question. Okay, only when you have a polynomial divided by a polynomial, degree of numerator is bigger than degree of denominator, this expression is going to tend to infinity. And if the reverse thing happens, it is going to tend to 0. If the degree is same, exactly same, then it is going to tend to ratio of the coefficients. So this is one very quick result which you can get without doing any steps. But secondly, it depends on the weightage of the question also. If this question has been asked for 6 marks, you need to first divide, then tell that okay, limit of this part is 0, and limit of this is also 0, limit of this is also 0 as x tends to infinity. So when we take limits separately to the individual expressions, we get 2 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0 plus this. So all that you say, and then you ultimately reach the answer 2. Okay, but here since we are just quickly checking the format, we need not show why it is infinite. We can just directly check it in the rough or mentally if that is possible for you. So whenever you have a higher degree term in the numerator and it is a polynomial divided by a polynomial, for any other expression, do not take this rule for granted. It may not work. It may work, but it may not work always. Okay, so only if you have a polynomial by polynomial. Yes, Ayush.
In the first, if we take x cube common, then can't be it is a 0 into infinity form.
X cube common, then what happens? You have
Then 1
yes.
upon that expression and minus 1 upon.
Sorry, numerator has 1, denominator, so it will be a similar process. Denominator will be 1 by x, isn't it? You want to take x cube common from the denominator also?
No, I am asking about the question. First step, taking x cube common from that two terms which is given in the question. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
okay. Then
1 upon x square minus x plus 1 whole minus 1 upon x square plus x minus 1.
yes,
Then it
then
0 into infinity form.
Then that is again an indeterminate form. So you'll either do it that way. That is also fine.
Okay.
Okay, 0 into infinity is also indeterminate. So either, as I said, that you whichever expression has a reciprocal, you take it down. So if the first term has a reciprocal, you write it down and make it in this form, infinity by infinity. Or if the second one has a reciprocal, take this expression down and make it 0 by 0 form. Then apply L'Hopital's. Okay.
Okay.
So there are many ways in which you can proceed after this stage. Okay, this is one of the ways, and you can use any other way you want to. Yes.
Ma'am, can we do like this, that take different like these two terms differently, and then apply L'Hopital's rule differently on both?
Separately, okay, but then yes, separately also you can do that. So what do you get then?
But answer is coming different.
Okay, separately if we apply, just a minute. So what do you get this expression as?
Can we apply it separately because it's not of 0 by 0 or infinity by infinity form?
No, but it is infinity minus infinity. So you first have to. This is an indeterminate form.
No, ma'am.
Yes.
If we take the limit of both the term separately,
You cannot. What will happen is you will get. See, this limit separately is also infinite, isn't it? Even if you apply L'Hopital's rule, you will get it as infinity.
yes, ma'am.
Nivedita, is that fine?
Yes, ma'am, but I applied the rule
Yes.
again and again repeatedly. Then at last it is coming 3 minus 3 0.
3 कैसे आएगा देखो आप डिफ्रेंशिएट करोगे ना सेपरेटली न्यूमरेटर हैज़ degree 3, so in the first stage you are going to get 3x square in the numerator. What will be the denominator? You will have 2x and then it is minus 1. Okay,
Minus 1.
so this will be the first differentiation. Next differentiation, what will happen? Again you differentiate, you get a
X by 2.
2. So how do you say this is 3? Can you say this is 3? What is the limit? This is no longer any indeterminate form, so you cannot apply the L'Hopital rule.
I understood my mistake.
Okay, so limit of the first term, if you take as x tends to infinity, it is limit of this, which is limit of this, and which is not an indeterminate form anymore, so you will directly apply the limit and you get this as infinity. Same with the second term. Okay, so whenever your numerator has a higher degree, it has to give you infinite. Limit value has to be infinity. You cannot use the L'Hopital's rule unless you have the indeterminate form. Okay, so this is the form which we have to take. Okay. Okay, so next I'll proceed with one more topic which is left. Okay, now in this expression, this is one topic which is there. So as I think I had mentioned with some other tutored group that you are having 2 books to refer, and your some portion of the syllabus is also taken up from the other book which is written by Anton. So please check your syllabus as well as the 2 books which I have given you. So one book is written by Strauss, Bradley and Smith. I think that's the third author. So there are 3 authors, and the other book by Anton and 2 more authors. So some portion of your syllabus is also from this particular book, the other book, and there this is one portion which is not there in the first book. Okay, and this portion you won't even, I think it is not there in Thukral sir's book also. Just check once. As far as my knowledge is concerned, it is not there. So that is why I am taking this topic, although it has not been asked at all, and you would not get questions as per my knowledge. You won't be getting questions, but still, since it is a part of the syllabus, we need to do it. So this topic is concerned with oblique or curvilinear asymptotes. So as of now, we have done asymptotes which are either perpendicular asymptotes, vertical asymptotes, or horizontal asymptotes. So basically they are either lines which are parallel to x-axis or lines which are parallel to y-axis. But we haven't seen situations when they are having oblique. Oblique meaning a line which is slanted at some other angle. Okay, it is neither vertical nor horizontal. So you may have asymptotes which are oblique, which are slanted lines, or they may be curves also. So you may have any curve expression which will be an asymptote to a particular function or an expression which you have. Okay, so asymptote, as again I'm repeating the geometrical interpretation or how you say that a particular expression is an asymptote is when your graph of the given function is getting closer and closer to that particular expression. It could be a straight line, horizontal, parallel, or diagonally placed, or at any angle. It can have a inclination, or it could be a curve. So whatever is the asymptote, your function is ultimately going to get closer and closer to that particular expression which you are saying is the asymptote. Okay, so till here is it fine? Okay, so we are going to find some other types of asymptotes also. So I'll only take up one particular way of doing, although there are some more techniques also, but they are very lengthy, and since they are not in your prescribed books, so I'm not going to take that up. So I'll take the simplest method which is there, and which is only dealing with rational functions. So no other type of functions. You will be only dealing with functions of this type, a polynomial divided by a polynomial, and you will be checking if they have any other asymptotes in addition to your vertical and horizontal. Okay, so does this graph have any vertical or horizontal asymptote? Does it have?
One is the vertical asymptote.
X equals to 1. Okay, don't just say
Yes.
1. You have to give equation of a line. So it is x equals to 1. This is a vertical asymptote which you have. Do you have any horizontal asymptotes? Any horizontal asymptotes?
Again, y is equal to 1.
Y equals to 1.
Yes.
And how do you say that?
Dividing by
equals
x
to
cube.
8.
X cube.
Dividing by x cube, okay.
Yeah. So first term will be 1, then all other will be 0.
And denominator, you're not going to divide?
So divide. Yeah, it will become 0. Yeah. No. Y is equal to 1. Not that.
Okay, any horizontal asymptotes? It is not necessary that every
No horizontal.
no horizontal. So basically for horizontal asymptotes, you find the limit of this expression as x tends to infinity or minus infinity. And if either of these two expressions give you a finite number, then only you will have a horizontal asymptote. So here when you take x tending to infinity, you will not get the answer as a finite number. It will be an infinite value. Okay, as x tends to infinity, this expression also tends to infinity. So no horizontal asymptotes would be there, only vertical asymptotes you are going to have. Okay, so one asymptote we know for sure is this, which is a vertical asymptote, and let us see if it has any other type of asymptotes or not. Okay, so this function does have, and that is why I have taken this. This is also a solved example from your prescribed book, so you can also check your book and see. Okay, now what is the first step is when we have this higher degree in the numerator, we are going to take the division. We are going to divide this expression by this expression, and we are going to write this as your normal format. So when you divide something, say p by q, you will get some say quotient, or let's keep it as capital Q. So you'll get a quotient plus you get a remainder by the divisor. So that's a general format. Now when I divide this, what do I get? Just tell me, normal polynomial division, when you do, what would you get as your quotient? What will be your quotient? Yes.
X square.
Okay, first
X
term
square.
x square. So you are left with what?
X cube minus x square.
Minus x square. Okay, so normal division you are going to do, and then you have this minus 8. So do you divide it further?
No.
No,
No.
because you have a remainder whose degree is smaller than the divisor, degree of the divisor. So you stop here, and you have completed your exercise of division. Okay, so this expression we are going to write it as x square, the quotient, plus or minus here, because you have a minus 8 in the remainder, divided by. Okay, so you can just cross check and see if this is correct or not, and you get back the original expression. So we are going to do this kind of a division in this case. Whenever we have to check for oblique or curvilinear asymptotes, you need to divide. So obviously your degree of the numerator has to be higher than that of the denominator, only then you can divide. And then after you do that division, you get this particular expression. Okay, now what we see here is that when you take x tending to infinity, what happens to this expression? This expression is going to get, so this part is going to become closer to 0. Okay, this term is going to get very close to 0. So your gx is going to get very close to x square. Okay, same thing when your x tends to minus infinity again, your function gx is going to again approach the expression x square. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the second term and I'm checking the limit of this term as x tends to infinity. So as x tends to infinity, this expression is going to tend to 0, and your original function gx is going to get closer and closer to the value of x square. Okay, so if you want, you can take the value of x to be a very big number here and substitute and then compare what is the value of x square and what is the value of x square minus this. So obviously this part will become very small. So say it will be of the order, say 10 to the power minus say 10. Say, so if this is of this form, it is a very small number. So for example, it is this number. So your original gx will obviously be approximately equal to the value of x square. Okay, so from here we can say that as x tends to infinity, your gx is tending to this particular expression. So what does that show? That when we increase the value of x indefinitely to be as large as possible, your expression or your original function is going to get very close to this particular function x square. So we'll say here that y equals to x square is an asymptote to your function gx. Okay, so we are testing the behavior of the function as your x is approaching infinity. Okay, so then in that case, this expression is going to tend to the equation y is equal to x square. Okay, so if on your graph you are going to draw the expression for y equals to x square, what is that shape, you can tell?
Parabola.
Okay, parabola opening.
Symmetric about y-axis.
And which side is it open?
Above.
It is opening upwards. Okay, so it is symmetric about y-axis, and since it has a positive coefficient, it is going to open upwards. So you have a parabolic shape, and from this result you get to know that whenever your function the value of x is approaching infinity, so when you're moving on this side, your function is going to approach this particular line. So wherever this line or this curve is moving, your function will get closer and closer to this. And when x is approaching minus infinity, so when you're going on this side again, your function is going to approach this particular curve. Okay, so either from this side or from this side. So obviously there has to be a break somewhere, or there has to be some other behavior which we need to study. But in either case, it is never going to cross this particular curve. So it will either remain on the lower side or on the higher side, and it will get closer and closer to this as x approaches plus infinity and as x approaches minus infinity. Okay, and in between we have also seen there is a vertical asymptote, so there will be some effect due to that also in the shape of the graph. So plotting I'm not doing right now. I just show you the final figure of what it will look like. Okay, so this is your blue color is your original gx, okay, which is this expression, and these dotted red and the vertical red line. These are your asymptotes. So one is your vertical asymptote, x equals to 1, and one is this parabola opening upwards. So you see that one branch is on this side and it is tending towards this particular curve. So it is moving close and close to this particular line as x is approaching infinity, and the other branch is here and it is getting close and close to this particular line as x is tending to minus infinity. So in either case it is approaching this particular parabola. Okay, and here near the value of x, which is 1, it is getting close and close to this vertical line. Okay, so you can see how the shape of the graph changes because of the existence of this asymptote. So this asymptotic existence is going to change the graph of the function. And the other things you can check by the other points like concavity, points of intersection, and here you have a point of intersection, here you have a point of local minima. So all that, when you check the other derivative parts and the intersection parts, you will get to know. But after you do that, if you see that there are some other types of asymptotes, then there has to be a change in the behavior. Okay, so although I'm not expecting such questions to be asked, but since it is a part of your syllabus, I thought I should be doing it, and so I'm taking up this. So it is not there in your calculus book by Strauss, and it is not there in Tukralsar's book, but it is in the other reference book, and that section is mentioned in your syllabus. Only because of that reason I'm doing this topic. Okay, so previous year papers you can check. This type of question has not been asked, checking for oblique asymptotes or curvilinear. So here we have a curve. It is not even a straight line, it is a curve. Okay, anyone wants to ask regarding this? The procedure is clear to you, how to check for oblique or curvilinear asymptotes. You need to do this division. Okay, this polynomial division you need to do. Write it as a quotient plus or minus whatever expression you have, remainder divided by the divisor, and then you see the behavior of the expression as x tends to infinity. Okay, so if this part tends to 0, then you are going to get a oblique or a curvilinear asymptote depending on what gx is approaching. So if gx is approaching a straight line, it will be a oblique asymptote, and if gx is approaching a quadratic or a cubic or anything of higher degree, then it is going to be a curvilinear asymptote. Okay, it will be a curve. Okay, anyone else? Anyone wants to ask anything from this?
Ma'am, these type of asymptotes is present only in question function upon function type of question.
Yes, rational function types. I mean, this is what we are required to do. Actually, the process which has been explained here is applicable to only these types of questions. So it is not that asymptotes will not exist for any other type. It will exist, but the process is not a part of your syllabus. So I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm doing only this particular question or this particular type of functions I'm taking. Okay, only rational functions are taken here, and we are taking those where your numerator has a higher degree than the denominator. This process is applicable only for such expressions. Okay, Tushar?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
So then I'll just explain the general procedure or the general format. So if you have a rational function and you get these polynomials, so you have a quotient, you have a remainder, and this is your original divisor, and if your degree of r obviously will be less than q, only then you will have this as the remainder, then this expression is going to tend to 0. So that is what we saw as x tends to infinity. Since the denominator has a higher degree, obviously this expression is going to tend to 0 as x tends to either plus infinity or x tends to minus infinity. And so y equals to qx, y equals to the quotient part, is an asymptote of the function f, and this will be a straight line. Okay, it will be a straight but slanted line, whichever direction it can be bent. It will be an oblique line if degree of px. So what happens to the degree of the quotient? Basically the quotient takes the degree which is difference of the degrees of these two. Okay, if you have say px of degree 5 and qx of degree say 1, what will be the degree of this quotient part?
4.
4. So it is basically the difference of these two degrees, 5 minus 1, 4. Okay, so this will have degree 4. So this will be of the type x to the power 4, and then it may have some more terms also. So this will be an oblique line. So you will get a line only when the difference in the degrees is 1. Okay, if I have a 5 here and a 4 here, then my quotient is going to have a term of degree 1. Okay, so if you have the quotient of degree 1, you are going to get a straight line equation. So it will be an oblique line if degree of px is 1 greater than degree of the denominator qx. So if px exceeds, degree of px exceeds degree of the qx denominator by 1, then the asymptote which you are going to get will be a line, and it will be a curve if degree of px exceeds that of qx by 2 or more. So if the difference is 2 or more than 2, you are going to get a equation which could be a quadratic equation or a cubic equation depending on the degree of the quotient. Okay, so is this method clear to you? Is this process fine? How you proceed with such questions?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'll just take one more question. So you tell me now, what is or what type of oblique or curvilinear asymptotes does this function have? Okay, x square by x minus 3, that is the function, and you are required to find if it has any oblique or any curvilinear asymptotes. Okay. So what do you do first is the division, polynomial division. So quickly do that, and then I'll ask someone to tell me. Yamini. Yamini. Himani.
Ma'am, there is some problem in Yamini's mic, so she can't respond right now.
Okay. Yamini, then raise your hand. I'll be able to make out that you're listening. Yamini isn't even listening to me.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Screen is not visible.
Screen is not visible.
Yes, ma'am. I think I have network issue.
Okay, Himani, the question is x square divided by x minus 3. Did you see how to find the asymptotes? I showed one question before this. Were you able to see that? Himani? Okay. Who else? Keshav. What will be the quotient and what will be the remainder? Yes, Keshav. I'm not able to hear you. Be louder.
Quotient will be x plus 3 and remainder will be 9 plus,
X plus
9.
3 and then plus 9. Okay, please verify everybody. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this correct? Yes. Okay. So we have done the division and we get this expression. Now here, what do you see? This part is tending to 0. So that will definitely happen as x tends to infinity. And so you will get an oblique asymptote which is given by y is equal to x plus 3. Okay. So what type of an expression is this? This is an asymptote. Okay. Priya, what type of an expression is this? What shape will it have? Priya.
Ma'am, parabola.
Y is equal to x plus 3. Just look at it again and tell me.
And y equals to mx plus c. Tangent, any line, I guess.
Straight
Y
line.
equals to mx plus c.
Yes, y is equal to mx plus c is a straight line. Okay.
Yes,
C is
ma'am.
the intercept, m is the slope. So how do you plot such a line, or how do you find out how this line looks like? कैसे plot करते हैं हम इसको?
मैम x की कोई भी वैल्यू पुट करके देन पॉइंट्स निकाल लेंगे, कोऑर्डिनेट्स निकाल लेंगे y की वैल्यू.
How many coordinates do you need? कितने coordinates निकालने होंगे?
3.
3. ओके. क्या क्या ले रहे हो आप बताओ?
मैम if we put x equals to 0, y 3.
Y is 3. Okay.
And if y equals to 0, x is minus 3. And if x equals to 1, y equals to 4.
Why do we need that third coordinate? Aren't 2 points sufficient to define a line?
Ma'am, they are sufficient.
2 points से line बन जाती है ना? आप join कर
Yes,
दीजिए
ma'am.
उनको. Okay. Okay. So when x is 0, y is 3. So vertically you will take, say, if I take these units, this is my point, and when y is 0, x is minus 3. So this is your point, and then you are going to draw a line joining these 2 points. That is going to be your asymptote, okay, for the function. So as x approaches infinity, your function is going to get closer and closer to this. Also, as x approaches minus infinity, the graph of the function is going to be close and close to this particular line. Okay, so suppose if I try to draw the graph as x approaches infinity, so one branch will be either on this side or on this side, okay, of this line. So either it will come from above or it will come from below, and it will get close and close to this. And when x approaches minus infinity, again you may have one branch coming either from up or coming from this side, and you will ultimately get close and close to this particular line. So that will be dependent on where it is intersecting the axis and how the shape is it increasing, is it decreasing, is it concave up or down. So accordingly you will get to know which side of this line the branch of the graph is going to lie. नीचे होगी या ऊपर होगी, ये सब के लिए हमें और भी पॉइंट्स चेक करने हैं. But from only this much we can say that the shape of the graph of the function is going to be something either like this or this in this portion, or it will take a form of this or this in the other portion when x is tending to minus infinity. Okay, so your graph is going to get close and close to this line when your x is approaching either plus infinity or when x is approaching minus infinity. So this is an oblique asymptote. It is a straight line, but it is not neither vertical nor horizontal. So it is an oblique asymptote. Okay, and in the previous example we saw the case of a parabola. So it was not a linear equation, it was a quadratic equation, and that was a case of curvilinear. So that is the special name given to such kind of asymptotes. They are called curvilinear asymptotes. Okay, so is this fine with everyone? Anyone has any doubts in this?
How do we come to know that we have to find oblique and curvilinear asymptotes? Is it given in the question?
Only if it is specified in the question you should do that. Okay, I would not suggest. If it is not, if only simple curve sketching is there, you may skip this part. Okay, but you should be aware that how to find it. Okay. So as I said, the pattern of the paper is very crucial, and in case you have a 18.75 marks question for curve sketching this curve, then you may put in as many points as you know. Okay, but if it is a 6 marks question, then there's no need at all. Then just checking till asymptotes is fine. You need not even check cusps and vertical tangents and all. Okay, so that depends on the pattern and what type of a paper are we going to get finally. So unless specified, I would not suggest, but still if it's an 18.75 mark question and you see that there are not many points you are getting, like you are not getting points or symmetries, any kind of symmetries are not there, no quadrants have been excluded from the sketching part. So if there are no points which you can get, then maybe you should be referring or you should be mentioning these things also. Okay, so whatever topics we have done, they are ultimately aiming to make a sketch of a or a graph of a function. So that is the ultimate aim of learning all these things. Or what is the effect of having such an asymptote? How will the graph look like if there is an asymptote of this type? So everything is ultimately aimed at knowing how to sketch it, or what is the rough sketch of the graph. Okay, so if your question is sketch the graph, then depending on the weightage and depending on what all does it have say any points of intersection, maxima minima points. Suppose it has no maxima minima points, or it has there are no symmetries, or some other points are missing, so then you do not have enough substance to plot the graph. So if you do not have enough points to tell how the shape will look like, then you may have to go for these points. Okay, or else if you have a separate question which says okay, find the asymptote. So what I am expecting, a rational paper setter should mention specifically what all points have to be checked, and he or she, whoever is setting, should keep separate marks. So if there are like 18 marks approximately assigned for such a question, then approximately 2 to 3 marks should be there for each point. So there should be at least 6 points which you should mention. Okay, and if you are not mentioning, if you're just mentioning 2 or 3 points or 4 points and then giving a sketch, then it may not fetch you the full marks. So again, so everything is very subjective, and it depends on who's setting, who's checking, all that. So if you are lucky enough, the paper examiner may not go for these things and may ignore. But if you are not lucky and somebody very strict is checking your paper, then that person might penalize you for not giving sufficient points for sketching. Okay, so just giving 2 or 3 points is not sufficient for a 18.75 mark question. But for a 3 mark question, for a 4 mark question, you need not at all. There's no requirement of telling these types of asymptotes. If you are able to sketch without this, then it is fine. Go ahead, and that will be all. Okay. So you have to decide on your own. So this is nothing which is out of syllabus. You can't say in the end that this was out of syllabus. Okay, so it is there for sure in the syllabus. It is a part of the syllabus, and if somebody asks you to do this, then you have to answer, otherwise it is wrong on your part. Okay, so I think this topic is clear. Yes, is it fine?
And this function also does not have any horizontal asymptote.
It doesn't have. Yes, when you take x tending to infinity, this becomes infinite. So there are no horizontal asymptotes. Yes. See, when you take x tending to infinity, basically this is the type of asymptote you are getting. So there are very few chances that a question which has and either a oblique asymptote or curvilinear asymptote would have a horizontal asymptote. There are very less chances, because when you take x approaching infinity, your function is approaching some polynomial again. Okay, so it cannot approach to a constant value when you take x approaching infinity. It has to keep on increasing because it is approaching some polynomial in x. Okay, so you cannot have it approaching to some finite number. So for such a expression, a polynomial by polynomial expression, if you have some other kind of oblique asymptote or curvilinear asymptote occurring, then it will not have horizontal asymptotes unless it is some other type of expression. So for rational functions we can say that, but do not generalize it for any other type. Okay.